Let's bring in ABC News contributor and former acting DHS Undersecretary for Intelligence, John Cohen, for more. John, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. First, I want to just ask you about this operation, the planning and the coordination. We understand that months of work went into this. The CIA on the ground, working sources and intel, the special forces also training in a replica compound. What more can you tell us about the process and how this played out?
Yeah, this operation built upon and was enabled by the capabilities put in place after September 11th that we have used for years to track the pattern of life of suspected terrorists and engage in capture or kill operations across the world for the most dangerous terrorists who pose a threat to the United States. The most important part of this planning is figuring out what it is that Nicolas Maduro did every day. Where did he go? Where did he sleep? Where did he eat? When he felt he was in danger, where would he hide? How did he travel around the city? Once you have that information, you then maintain surveillance using our satellites, our signals collection capabilities, even human sources, and you essentially keep him under observation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And some critics have raised questions about the legality of this operation. The Trump administration is defending this action by framing it as a law enforcement operation, an arrest meant to capture a man they describe as a narco-terrorist, and then the military was in support. What do you make of that reasoning, especially after the president has said that, we plan to run the country until a transition can be complete now?
Yeah, so the legality of this operation sort of depends on from whose perspective you're looking at it from. If the administration will point to a 1989 DOJ memorandum, which seems to suggest that the FBI can engage in arrests and apprehensions in foreign territories. They'll point to a Supreme Court decision that says even if somebody is kidnapped abroad illegally, once they appear before a U.S. court, they can't raise the claim their initial apprehension was illegal. That said, if you're a member of the international community, you're going to see this as a violation of Venezuela's sovereignty. And you're going to see it as being inconsistent with international law and UN charter. The bigger question is not whether it is legal or not, because the lawyers can argue that. Was the risk posed by Nicolas Maduro, did it warrant something that is going to cause foreign policy diplomatic challenges and may potentially impact the willingness of our partners and allies to share intelligence and cooperate with us operationally in the future.
You mentioned the risk posed by Maduro, and again, the administration and the indictment against him, framing him as this narco-terrorist who was a danger and a threat to the United States. Do you think this now could actually stem the flow of drugs into the U.S., and what potential impact could this have on U.S. national security?
Yeah, that's a great question. He was indicted in 2020. There was a superseding indictment recently. The narco-terrorism allegation has to do with his working with a Colombian terrorist organization, which in large part has become part of the Colombian political process. He's not a good guy, and not a lot of people are going to shed tears over a drug trafficker who stole an election from being removed from office. That said, you raised the right question. If I were in my old job at DHS, I would be looking at several things. One, how will Russia, China, Iran seek to exploit this, whether through their own physical activities abroad or in the way that they conduct information operations against the U.S.? Will they use this as a way to undermine confidence in the U.S.? And will they seek to paint the U.S. as a rogue nation? What are the security concerns regarding a high visibility trial taking place in New York? Will Venezuela, become more destabilized? And in becoming more destabilized, will that provide an opportunity for the cartels and other criminal organizations to take more control or operate more freely? We could actually see an increase in the flow of drugs coming to the United States and an increase in migration if Venezuela becomes a failed state and there's an increase in violence and criminal control. So those are some of the issues I would be concerned about. One last one is, have we set a precedent? Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, They will conduct intelligence operations. They will seek to harass or even kill political opposition to their country in foreign lands under the veil of law enforcement. Have we just now opened the door to those countries to operate in the U.S. or other Western countries, basically saying, hey, the U.S. can do it, why can't we?
That's a fascinating point. We can really see the potential ripple effect from an operation like this around the world. John Cohen, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.